And welcome everyone to Off the Page. It is the comic book podcast for the CBC channel. You can Google us anywhere. You'll find the Facebook, the Twitter, the Patreon, the YouTube. Obviously, if you're here, you might find the SoundCloud. You might find the Bebo. What's the other thing Army's using for certain videos?
I just say Google.
Yeah, but it's a Daily Motion. I think he's using that.
Yeah, but like Google has everything, even if it's new. Google will always have everything.
I'm just saying you'll find all that, so you know what you're looking for. On the Twitter, you will find us, Mitch692 and Halftime Joe, and yeah, we have some things to talk about from comics. Some good things, some I don't know how to feel things, some
A lot of things.
meh things, a lot of ting-tings, and yeah, of course we've got the comics at the end. So yeah, straight away, the Guardians of the Galaxy are no more. We've known this for a while. Jerry Duggan has teased that he's going to do a Guardians Disassembled, quotes, and that appears to be Infinity Countdown, and leading from that, it's going to be the Asgardians of the Galaxy, which a lot of people were saying, oh, this is because of the movie, and it's like, if you go back and read Jason Aaron's God of Thunder run, I think it's issue 7, so it's really early on, he kind of teases something like this. So we got the, what were you gonna say?
No, why is like because of the movies? Valkyrie was just in a movie. Is that why? Like people think that? Like,
There's the Valkyrie thing, and the hot rumor is Thor's gonna join the Guardians.
well, I mean, it always made sense. Did I feel like he did at one point join the Guardians?
No, he's never been on the Guardians.
It felt so natural that he should. So that's why I'm assuming he did at one point. But I guess, I mean, if you're gonna get kind of something from the movies, that is something, I guess, because that was a great part of the movie.
Yeah. I mean, Jason Aaron said in his Thor run that Old Man Thor was like, "Oh, have you been on the Guardians of the Galaxy yet?" So he's gonna be on there at some point. It's it's natural, but they don't get the scripts until like 6 months out anyway.
Yeah.
So, ever since the whole writers' room thing that Bendis was on before Age of Ultron, when that kind of collapsed, when Feige took all the control, it hasn't been the same. But yeah, we know it's Cullen Bunn writing it and Matteo Lolli doing the art. Not sure who's the colorist on it, to be honest. But we have the full lineup. We have the Destroyer armor that's got one arm left over from the Jane Foster run. We have Throg. We have Scourge. We have the Valkyrie everyone apparently loves and wants. She's back. I think it's Brundlehyde, actually. It might be the other one. We have Eric Masterson, Thunderstrike. He's here. And we have the Black Sheep of the Thor family, and that is Angela, because someone has to do something with Angela because she
She was a part of that big, I think it was 2015, right, where they even announced it on a late night show or a Good Morning show or something like that, and they had this big lineup. It was a picture of all these heroes. It was when Superior Iron Man was out. I think that's when Angela first came out, right?
No, it was way before that. She came back because of Age of Ultron.
No, but I think that's when she got her first main series, wasn't it?
No.
Really? Because I swear I remember that picture, her being in there, and everybody like, oh, who? Like nobody knew who that was gonna be. I swear I remember that. Like I'm gonna Google it right now.
Because like if you don't know anything about Angela, Angela was originally a Spawn character that Neil Gaiman owned.
Yeah, I remember that part of it because that they made her a part of Marvel around that. See, I need to look it up because that was a big like Marvel thing. It came out with Superior Spider-Man. It was Jane Foster Thor. It was Sam Wilson Captain America. Like that's when that picture and it had Angela in it.
Oh no, you're thinking of the Marvel Now relaunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was about way before that. Age of Ultron was like 2012, 2013.
Yeah, but that's even if she did, I feel like that was when I don't know, like so, not that she came into the general audience, but it was just something about that was when it was her, and then she got her own miniseries out of that, or not miniseries, but she got her own series out of that.
Well, she joined the Guardians under Bendis' disgusting run. I'm certain she had what was it, Asgardian Assassin before 2015. I'm not 100. I can't remember which Marvel relaunch she was part of. The Image, to be fair. But yeah, so she's there. Hopefully, someone does. Or Colin Bunn does something with her because.
There it is. It had that picture. Had Medusa, Scarlet Witch, Superior Iron Man, Doctor Strange in the black and red. And then Angela's right there.
That's all new, all different. So that was 2016. That's even.
I don't know that one. I remember that pick specifically of Angela being on there and then her getting a series right after.
I don't even remember it being on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think she's clearly leading this. Kind of salty that Sif isn't here. We haven't seen Sif in a hot minute. So, some people say she's redundant on this team. Well, I'd say, well, we've got 2 Thors and essentially 2 Valkyries anyway, so they're both redundant. But
did you say Scourge was on here? Because, that's crazy. Yeah.
He's right there in bottom corner. He hasn't got his axe. He does have a massive chain, though, which, I mean, I like Scourge with the axe, or at least even the M16s. But I can understand why I didn't have the M16s. But...
I don't know. This is going to be a weird series, but it's Colin Bunn, and he's a really good writer, so.
I was saying he's done some... X-Men Blue's been really good, even though I had dropped off it.
I just don't know how Throg works, but okay.
Oh, it's Thor, but a frog.
Yeah, I don't know. It just always seemed too campy, but then again, this might be a campy series.
I mean, it's called as Guardians of the Galaxy.
That doesn't mean it's going to be campy.
It's gonna. I mean, just look at it. It's a superhero thing. It's gonna be campy.
Alright, you're right.
It is also a mini-series, so if you're typing furiously, this isn't gonna last long. Fun fact: most mini-series don't last long.
5 issues, maybe
6.
Yeah.
Probably 6 at least. That's a general arc length usually.
That's why I'm still pitching the idea of every 6 issues, monthly issues. They kind of. Like, you remember the one I said, last week, where writers or creative team would go on, do an arc, 6 issues, and then, another creative team will come in for 6 issues, do, a different arc.
Yeah, I still like the idea of having, one consistent writer, but just change out the art.
Yeah. I don't know, because then, not every writer's like Bendis, where they just get bored. That's the only reason, because I feel like some writers probably might get bored.
I mean, I can imagine getting bored pretty quickly. If you're slot, don't get bored. You want to stay on Spider-Man as long as you can.
That's why I pitched 6 issues, because it's half a year if it's monthly.
Yeah, but then you fall into that trap of people being like, we don't want relaunches, and then that would just be a relaunch.
I get.
Then you
I don't know.
One again.
It would still be similar. It'd be like a continuation, but it would be. I don't know. I still think that could work, similar to how Man of Steel comes out, which I'll talk about later, and then a new creative team does Man of Steel 7 through 12, but
Man of Steel was only a 5-issue miniseries.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that would be cool if that was a continuing and just a different creative team each time. It'd be like Superman or Action Comics 1000, but not in terms of pages.
I think that's the problem with that is it's too quick. You're not letting anything really settle, and a lot of people like when books can settle in and you can get into the status quo. You're switching it up every arc. It's just let me just get into these characters and not changing, because every writer writes characters differently. So, and
that's why I pitch kind of it being a continuation. You have to work it out and all that, but I still think that's a possible idea in the future, in a way to kind of keep it fresh and keep rotating.
Yeah, but that's the problem people don't want.
Keep it fresh.
It's the just let things let writers get settled in. No, if you only do 6 issues, it's just kind of like bam, and then everything's going to feel different because people are going to do their own thing. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't say you have to do it for every comic. Try out one first, and then yeah.
It's just I don't know,
I feel like it could work, and I would hope they try that one day. I would think DC probably, Bendis doing Man of Steel, that might be how it works, but I don't know. You don't have, like I said, you don't have to do it every issue. Just try one character out and then see how that goes. But
I'd rather just let a writer have as long as he wants. Maybe not 10 years like some people.
I know, because then at some point it's it doesn't matter anymore.
Well, here's the thing, if we did what you're saying, we wouldn't have Jason Aaron Stoll.
It's true. There's a thing for everything. That's what I'm saying. Like, some things work better, some things don't. So, like, Hickman's Avengers wouldn't have that, right? But Jeff Johns did Darkseid War, which was arguably like 8 issues, but still, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but Darkseid was an event.
I mean,
Not
I guess.
That is straight up an event. Of
It,
course,
it didn't have like event issues. It was in Justice League itself. It was a self-contained thing. It had like one-offs, but that's because I think Jeff figured like he can write more when he didn't really need the one-offs because I don't think they really added too much. It's like,
what you're saying is it had tie-ins, therefore making it an event.
I mean, I guess there are times they didn't really need it. It was just like it was kind of, what was the one that was Dark Knight Metal, like that didn't even need the tie-ins either.
That didn't need to happen, but
you know what didn't need to have them? No Justice.
Well, that only had the one tie-in, didn't it? And that didn't matter because it didn't even get mentioned in issue 4. So fuck that series. And keep Snyder of events, please. But moving on to Justice League. Speaking of, Justice League Dark has a new villain called the Upside Down Man.
So this is going to be, of course, the Wonder Woman led Justice League Dark team. Detective Chip is a ton of Man-Bat. I think Upside Down Man looks crazy.
He does.
I think it's perfect for what kind of I've gotten the feel off of Justice League Dark when you see the initial kind of promotional images for the series. It looks like it fits, and James Tynion, which James Tynion is such a masterful writer. I love what he does in Detective Comics, and kind of very. It can be dialogue heavy, but it adds so much. Like, I remember when Tim Drake was initially gone, man, that was such a big event, even though it wasn't even an event.
Also, it looks really weird. Have you seen that thing on Twitter of guys taking pictures of their beards when they're looking? So, because it looks like that. It looks really weird. So I assume he's upside down, but his head's upside down, which is.
I'm trying. Let me see. So James Tynion, and then I'm trying to see what else is there to the Upside Down Man. See if they have anything about him. No, I just think.
I think it's just he's the Upside Down Man.
Should be fairly. Yeah. So Justice League Dark #1 goes on sale July 25th. There's that, and yeah, James Tynion just all he really did was tweeted out like the new, I guess, villain of the arc, of the first arc is Upside Down Man. I'm down. It looks like he's always. I mean, it's not like a bat type of thing, but it just looks like he's walking like upside down.
Funny that. I'd expect the Upside Down Man to be upside down.
No, yeah, but is that the whole time?
I assume so.
That's interesting.
His head's technically the right way up, but his body's not.
Is it? Oh, I didn't even notice the mouth was like that. You're right. That's cool. I'm down for it.
He's both upside down and upside down at the same time.
I'm really interested to see what Dark and Odyssey does, because I feel like it's been a while since Dark, and James Tynion is gonna bring such a different take from the last handful of years.
Looking at this, I feel like Snyder should have been on Justice League Dark if it's going to be more of the horror one. Because Snyder's strengths lie in horror comics. Like, look at Witches.
That's true.
And this looks something like Snyder would.
There is something to say for trying something different, right?
I mean, yeah.
We love when these creators go and do their strengths, but there's always something to them going out of their realm of what they're used to.
Yeah. And it's also, I suppose, you're not going to put Snyder on, quote, the lesser Justice League book.
Especially since he's such a heavy hitter for them now, and he's running the main Justice League, which of course we'll talk about that later, and I think is really great. But yeah,
we'll get into that one later. I've got a lot to say about that. Yeah. If you love Snyder, you might not want to listen to that bit. But yeah, moving on from that. We have Weapon. I think Weapon X is becoming Weapon X-Force.
Yeah. I think so, yeah.
And we have a reveal of 2 of the characters already, which is Sabretooth, obviously, and I think it's Domino.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Domino.
It's quite clearly Omega Red is on there in the bottom left-hand corner. Like, there's no one else with a fucking ponytail like that. The other two, I have no idea. It could be Elektra and someone else, but
Do you know? I've noticed. I think Marvel is more so the ones who do this. Of the over time they reveal the characters are in
yeah,
the comic.
yeah. I don't think I've ever seen DC do
Yeah, is this? I don't know. I feel weird about it, but at the same time, that's kind of cool. That makes it like an event on its own, where it's like, who's in the comic? Find out once a week until the new issue comes out or something.
I like it because it's automatically more marketing, and it's easy marketing.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, look, is this, and then you haven't got to worry about it. You can just go, oh, and then this person's on it. Wait, this person's on it. And
it
then
could
this
have been something they did for Justice League, for Scott Snyder's Justice League. But I mean, either way, I think that's a cool idea of just them over time. Like I said, I've seen Marvel do it more so than the other, but I think it's pretty cool.
recent time they did it with X-Men Red.
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
It's very much an X-Men thing.
Yeah.
They did it with one of the old, I think it was Cataclysm. It was Who Dies, and I think everyone was like, "Oh, that's Captain America. It's got a massive round circle on it."
Didn't they do it with like X-Men Blue, Gold? They didn't feel like with every X-Men book.
I don't think they did it with Blue and Gold. I could be wrong. I don't remember it for that. I just know they did it with Astonishing and Red.
Remember when there was those like 10 X-Men books that came out of that one event and stuff like that, and like Weapon X had, I think, Old Man Logan, and then like they showed like different characters out of it.
That's this book.
Yeah, but I'm just saying like that when those like 10 X-Men books came out or whatever, though, they did it on each one, I think, or maybe not each one.
Actually, no, you say that they did do it for Weapon X. Looking at that the cover they're ripping out of, even though it's like, oh, it's a different team, but the team's going to be kind of the same to what you've already seen.
Yeah,
at least two of the members are staying. Yeah, because the old team you had it was Old Man Logan, Sabretooth, Lady Deathstrike. I can't remember the other two. I think it was Thunderbird and someone else. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, this is just a rebranding of that old. I say old of the Weapon X series. That was it Greg? No, Greg Land. I did the art for that one. Everyone's just like, "Oh, Greg Land." But yeah.
Yeah. Looks. I mean, it's gonna be a darker incarnation, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, it's Weapon X.
Yeah.
I didn't read it, to be honest. I read
It's out in August, just for people to know. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't actually say that as Guardians of the Galaxy's out in September. So yeah. There you go. Two topics late. Moving on, we have the announcement that DC is doing a line-wide relaunch of Vertigo, and they've announced some titles, but I don't care what they say. I say this is delayed till December, just because the way they've been going.
Oh yeah, remember when we were like I felt it was last week we were talking about one of the new imprints or whatever, and then we're talking about Vertigo, and I guess it just 1 week after it's like, oh, Vertigo's getting like a relaunch, and it's DC Vertigo. That's what it's being called now.
I mean, sure, I'm surprised they didn't call it DC's Vertigo before. But.
And so it's coming out, I think it said, with 4 like series that are starting off.
I thought it was 7. I think it was 7.
Let me see. I thought it said 4. Complete relaunch and rebranding. Oh, we'll start with 7 new books. You're right. That feature talent from video games, television, film. That's where I was getting it for. 4 of the titles will be monthly series that debuted in the fall. The remaining 3 set to arrive in 2019.
Let's
see.
Which that doesn't include all the Sandman stuff. Because aren't there like 5 books for that thing coming out?
Yeah, I'm wondering when that comes out, because I remember I was super excited for that, but I mean, I think it comes out later this year, doesn't it? Because we talked about it, and we're like, it was earlier in the year, I think, and it had to come out later this year, which a lot of things are coming out later this year for DC. The DC streaming service is coming out later this year, like in August.
Speaking of that DC streaming service, that does include comics, so they might do like a Marvel Unlimited thing with it.
I think
because
that's so cool.
they've never had that, so it'd be a good idea to have that.
I think that's so cool. Like once you get the DC streaming service, you're not only gonna get the TV shows and movies they're adding on there, but all like I'm assuming all the old comics, right?
Yeah, I assume it's going to be like a Marvel Unlimited, and you get like the back catalog, and you get the current issues, but they're like 6 months out.
Yeah, see, I'm curious as to how they're gonna approach that. I don't know if it's gonna be similar like that, where it's gonna be 6 months out. It could be 3 months out or something like that. I would like. I need a. And I would like to hear something from them.
I'm not saying it's going to be exactly the same. I'm just saying like that's how Unlimited works. So they might take a route similar to that.
I would like to see something like them say what it's gonna do with current comics, because that's cool that it's gonna have older comics. And I don't know how much Unlimited is. Is it $10? Because everything's $10 every streaming service.
Last time I saw Unlimited was $100 a year.
$100?
Yeah, I think. But $100 gets you the entire Marvel back catalog.
I'm assuming DC's is going to be $10 a month.
Yeah, but that's for a streaming service. This is just for comics for Marvel.
Yeah. Okay. Because I'm thinking like it doesn't do monthly. Like you can't pay monthly in the Marvel Unlimited.
The last time I looked at Marvel Unlimited was when it's announced, and it was like, oh yeah, pay $100 a year and you get this free Age of Ultron statue.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
I'm not 100% on that. It could be cheaper, but even so, 100 divided by 12 as well.
No, yeah. I'm just saying you can't do. I'm sure it's 100, like it's $10 a month, but 100 for the year. So it's cheaper if you get the year, kind of like everything. If you get the year, it's cheaper.
I'm gonna look at how much.
Because like the example Xbox, right? I think it's $60 a year, but like $10 or like $8 a month, and it's cheaper if you get the year. They always do that, so you pay like so you can stay longer.
Yeah. I think Xbox Live and PSN's like 40 quid a year for me. Which is better. It's at $60, so.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm trying to see, because this has stuff to do with comics, and if this vertical could be put on DC Vertical could be put on the DC streaming service, that's gonna matter, because like that's where I'm gonna get the Sandman stories. I really want to check those out, to be honest. I wish Valiant had one. I still read Valiant. Shout out to Valiant. It doesn't get enough love, even though I think it's having one of the movies like recently cast a bunch of people. Forgot.
Fun fact: Marvel Unlimited is $9.99 a month. So
there you go.
You get access to 20,000 plus digital comics.
Yeah, you get access to all the comics pretty much. That's, I'm assuming, what they're both gonna do, and that's always been a smart idea. I always thought, why didn't they Marvel did, but I always thought, why didn't DC do it like already? Because it sounds like a good idea.
Well, digital is the one thing DC's been lacking, and it's strange because their name is DC. It's free marketing.
It almost like digital content, but that's what it.
It's just like your name kind of is an acronym for digital comics.
No, but haven't you ever found it weird that it's no longer like an actual acronym for Detective Comics? Like it's just DC. Like that's just the name.
Yeah, but still, why just brand everything with DC? Digital content, digital comics.
I always find it weird that it's DC, and it used to be Detective Comics, but now it's like it's just DC. Like there's no acronym to it or whatever. It's just I don't know. I always find that weird.
Actually, do they still have the digital comics? Not digital comics, Detective Comics as part of the logo? Because they used to, didn't they?
What do you mean?
Well, before you had DC, and underneath it had Detective Comics.
No, it doesn't. I think for a long time now, it's just been DC. Like it's no longer. This is Detective Comics, aka DC. Like it's just DC.
Well, I mean, when they had Detective Comics, it was DC. It was DC effectively.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's called Detective. Like the actual company name isn't called Detective Comics anymore.
I mean, it's probably not. It probably is.
No, probably like in the '90s or something like that. It was called Detective Comics is Detective Comics, but that's.
I think it might have gone into the 2000s.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
But I remember seeing it not that long ago.
Maybe. But if this new streaming service will include kind of this DC's new vertical, and I doubt it, but because the way they say it is that it's going to just be a basic like launch, Yeah,
because you're not going to... I doubt you're going to get the new issues on that streaming service, and you're taking away from yourself.
Well, what am I thinking of that does that in a way where they have? I mean, I guess putting their own versions of the TV shows on there, like their own like content, digital content for TV shows, like Titans. That would almost be like just putting Vertical on there, like their own, like different series.
I mean, yeah, but I
But
doubt you're gonna get new stuff on
you
their strap.
you can always do that thing where you can either read it on the service or buy it, and like so you could keep it. I think what does that? I think like the Game Pass for Xbox and I think PS Now, they both do that where you can use the service to play the games, but you can't play them. You can only play them as long as you have the service, but you can buy them forever in case you want to get rid of the service.
Yeah.
So,
Um,
that could be
bas-
for comics too.
like if this is what 9.99 a month, let's just say, you're not gonna get new comics on there. Ever.
You don't even
Because
think like
no, because here's the thing: why would you ever buy a single issue for like what 2.99, 3.99 from DC
when
when
you can get the stream service.
you could get your entire pull list a month, which is what 50, 60
Well,
dollars maybe average for a sixth of that price.
that's why I'm not saying maybe all their catalog. You start a Vertical because
That's what I'm saying. You won't get any new period.
well, that's what I'm like.
It will be delayed. It'll all be up stuff.
You remember Netflix kind of initially do this. You lose money initially, don't you? Like on any streaming service, you lose money initially.
Yeah, but they're not. Look, in the type of industry comics is, you don't want to lose money, so you're not going to have new issues on there. Period.
Well,
Like, until like 6 months out. Because why would you? It's stupid.
Marvel Unlimited has new comics, but it's kind of the Marvel Unlimited version of the comics.
Months after they've been released.
No. Like they have the Marvel, like find it only on Marvel Unlimited. They have those like.
Yes, they're only on there. They're not then being
Yeah.
well. They then get printed maybe sometimes like 6 months afterwards.
But
You're
wouldn't
not-
that be new comics?
Yeah, but you're not then going buy them over here for more price. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, like they sell those, whatever. Like I remember the one I like remember specifically is like a Silver Surfer one. You can only read it on Marvel Unlimited, and I would assume that's a new issue of a comic.
Yes, but it wasn't in print.
Yeah,
It's-
that's all.
it's
Yeah, I'm just saying you can probably get new comics on here, but they might not be in print.
Yeah, but I'm saying you won't get these.
Oh,
comics.
like you won't find Justice League on there.
No, you won't find Justice League. You
Yeah.
won't find Vertigo. You will find the older comics on there.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
might-
that's what they said. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm not.
I'm saying you could find new comics on there, but that I'm not saying you can find Batman and Justice League.
You're obviously gonna find new digital comics on there.
Yeah, that's what
But
that's what I'm saying.
This isn't the conversation of the Vertigo stuff.
Oh well, no, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you could have like a Vertigo type series, like from a character, but just it's the streaming service only comic or whatever. It could be a Swamp Thing or something. I don't know, because you don't have a Swamp Thing comic really out now.
You could have a Swamp. I think Greg Capullo's drawing a Swamp Thing. He keeps
Oh
being,
yeah.
look at something. But back to the whole Vertigo stuff. This is essentially their political line.
We're
Is what they're
creating a new generation of DC Vertigo classics for readers of all genres, is what they said.
Yeah, readers of all genres, as long as you really like your politics.
How is it politics? I haven't like I'm assuming in the slideshow pictures that's what like the new comics are right?
I mean, yeah, but have
Border
you read what they're going to be tackling?
So let me see, because some of the issues, what is it called? Border Town, which tells the story of a crack in the border between worlds that causes monsters of Mexican folklore to spill out into the tiny town. That's cool. I like that.
Oh, look, Mexican stuff is spilling into American people. I wonder what that's an allegory for.
I find
What?
monster tension brewing to the town. Let me see. What else are they doing? American Carnage, about a biracial but white passing FBI agent named Richard Wright going undercover in a white supremacist group. Ooh.
Oh, I wonder what that is.
Goddess Mode, which will focus on a young woman who does tech support in a future where humanity needs are done by a godlike AI. Ooh.
See, to me, that one sounds really familiar. But...
Oh, that looks really cool. Like when you look at the art for it, it's like neon. Like there's all these cool colors on it. I'm down for that.
What number is it?
5. High level. What's high level about?
Yeah, that one looks cool.
High level, safe sex and second coming. Okay, that one. I don't know why that's funny. High level seems cool, but
So sex to me looks like sex criminals, but not funny.
oh, I think it's overall called High Level, Safe Sex, and Second Coming. Oh no, I don't. High Level is about a selfish smuggler hundreds of years in the future has a bounty on her head and has to deliver a child to the titular High Level. Oh, about the one percenters. I get it. What is the safe sex one? A dystopian sci-fi thriller about a group of sex workers fighting for the right to love in a world whose government monitors and regulates sexual pleasure. Wow.
Oh, look, they're talking about gay rights.
Second Coming. God sending Jesus to Earth to learn from the superhero known as Sunman. The described varsity quarterback that God never had. Oh gosh. This is honestly, I'm down for all this. This sounds like so like super out there. I'm down.
I mean, does this sound like Vertigo though?
I mean, that's what they said. They want to try like a new generation DC Vertigo, because Vertigo to me is kind of just like horror.
So wasn't like Vertigo was like the horror mystical like fantasy stuff.
Yeah, and that's why they're gonna try something else. Though I don't know if they should have just made another imprint if they wanted to do this.
Make another imprint. This is the relaunch of it.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess this does mystical about it because there's monsters in Border Town. There's all this different stuff. There's mystical stuff about it.
And so don't forget, it's got Sandman, so it's suppose it is sticking to what Vertigo is. I'm surprised there's not like a new Hellblazer on there, to be honest. But
it's just a 2018 Vertigo.
Yeah.
It's really what it feels like, because the Vertigo like the past year felt like traditional Vertigo, but now it's everything's modernized and stuff like that.
Heard though, it's social justice Vertigo.
I mean, those people are dumb. I feel like not giving them the time of day.
I know, I just like laughing at it. If you can't laugh at yourself, then who can you laugh at?
Everybody else.
You can't laugh. Moving on. Everyone knew this was happening. We knew when the solicitations came out this was happening. Wolverine. Logan himself. Not the old man version. Not the female clone version. Not the son he had from both continuities, actually. But the Logan is coming back. He's taking the mantle of Wolverine away from Laura, unjustifiably, in my opinion. And yeah, of course it's done by Charles Soule, because Charles Soule is the only person who can do Wolverine at the minute. He's like put his flag in that deal. He's like, no, mine. I killed him. I brought him back. I'm writing him. Steve McNiven is going to be the artist on it, and he has a new power, which seems very divisive from what I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool that he's coming back. Like the official one. I feel like it's been a while.
When was the death of Wolverine? 2014?
I thought it was 2012 for some reason.
I mean, it might be. I could remember it wrong.
I could be remembering it wrong. It's felt like a long time. It might be 2014, yeah.
I'm gonna...
Yeah, 2014's Death of Wolverine, and this year's Hunt for the Wolverine. Yeah.
So yeah, it's been 4 or 5 years since he's been dead.
So it is a 5-issue limited series, Return of the Wolverine.
So only 5 issues?
Yes.
That surprises me. I thought they would have just gone straight in and given him a new series. I suppose it's called Return of Wolverine, so that makes sense.
I don't get how it's necessarily controversial, like his new powers. Like, that's cool that his adamantium lace claws can heat up now.
It's because people are like, oh, why? It's just a gimmick. And it's like, I kind of get it.
Reminds me of Freddy Krueger.
But I mean, yeah. But, I get both sides of it. It's like, oh, we got to bring him back. How do we bring him back and make something, make him different?
Keep it fresh.
Keep it fresh. Spoilers, fresh start. Like, how do we, not just say the death was meaningless? It's like, give him, have a little bit of that carry around with him all the time.
You know what? Is it me, or are we starting to hear a lot more mini series slash limited series be announced than ever? I feel like I might just be saying that. I don't know. I feel like we're starting to see more.
Marvel have announced a lot of minis recently.
Well, so is DC. I would say not just Marvel. I'm saying all the comics, not just
Let's look in the last week. We've had as Guardians of the Galaxy. We've had Cloak-and-Dagger. We have
probably more Marvel. Yeah.
And Wolverine. The last three things they've announced are miniseries.
Now, I'll argue to this because we had this conversation earlier about like having writers settle in and stuff like that. I'd argue that people get bored easily now. And it's not me. I don't get bored easily now. I'm down for a writer to stay on for 5 years, something like that. But it definitely seems like people get bored instantly. And if it's not popping, it's not going to be really talked about.
I don't think people get bored. I think people want stuff quickly. People like to consume things and move on to the next thing. It's not. I don't think it's a case of boredom.
Yes.
I think it's a case of how people consume things.
It's the binging era, right? People want something that is, quick, as in binge. It's right. Getting bored / wanting things quickly are different, but that is a better way of saying it. Because I doubt we'll ever get to all 4 comics come out the same day. Maybe actually that could like a binging comics type of thing.
You mean a trade?
No, but not like
That's what it is.
Yeah, but that's not that's after the series comes out. I mean, if they just come out straight up as trades now, like it's how it says right here, like a 5-issue limited series, right? What if this just came out as a trade? But then at the same time, those are graphic novels, right?
I mean, a comic is a graphic novel.
No, but people would always say graphic novels are the ones that come out just like that.
Yeah, but
they're all graphic novels, yeah, technically. But that's what people kind of say, that a graphic novel is the one that just comes out like that, and a trade is that brings up all the issues together later.
I don't think there's really a set. It's kind of like an event. Like, what is an event? What's a graphic novel? People think Spawn was a graphic novel because it was mature.
No, but it came out. Yeah.
Is that the case? Maybe not.
Well, I mean, if I look it up on Barnes & Noble, I'm sure it's going to give me kind of different things.
How is this monthly or is it weekly?
Probably monthly, I'd assume. I think weekly is the closest you're going to get to a binge of comics.
Yeah, which to be fair, like it's a difficult thing for comics in a minute because weekly is the way they kind of have to go, but I don't think it's humanly possible to get everything to go weekly.
But would you because we like we just said, like a binging of a comics technically could be a trade, but then again, wouldn't it cost more to buy all 5 issues than it would to just buy the trade of this, right?
Well, no, because trade.
Because what are we saying? How much is this going to cost? $4?
The first issue will be $4 or $5 because that seems to be Marvel's tactic in a minute. Is do it for knock it up $1 for issue 1 and issue 2 and 3 and whatever, and knock it down again.
Okay, so let's say 5, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. So that's what, $21, and the trade could be 17.
Yeah.
So that technically it's cheaper to get it as a trade. So that's I guess having these come out as trades, if you just heard that Charles Soule is going to be writing Return of the Wolverine and it's going to come out on this day, the whole series, and it's a trade, wouldn't that be cool? Or would you rather it come out weekly?
Well, then that's the thing. If it's all in one go, it's not a trade.
But it's
because trades are a collection of issues.
Yeah, see, that's exactly what that's what I've been saying.
I know, it's just
why were you against me on that thing when I literally just said that?
I'm saying, it is a trade, but
it'd be more of a graphic novel, even though that technically is still a comic, but it's because they kind of differentiate by saying trades or collections, and like you said, and graphic novels are the ones that come out kind of just like that, straight up.
Yeah, but they're kind of the same thing.
But wouldn't that be different of just it coming out on one day, whether it's a trade, whatever it is, all 5 issues, and you just have to collect each issue that day or whatever?
Then you have the issue of, well, what do you do next?
But that's that's the I guess that's what I'm saying. Like binging, you'd have to. I mean, I don't know if we'll ever get to that point in comics specifically because it's like it's different mediums in a way.
Yeah. I mean, you get like omnibuses, I suppose.
But you think it'll because Blockbuster didn't go the way it thought it was gonna go. With Netflix and then Netflix was able to.
No, Blockbuster died because they refused to go digital.
Oh,
It wasn't binging sense. It was because they were like, oh, no, physical medium would still be popular. What?
What still is, but for comics mostly.
Um,
Because I don't buy anything physical really anymore.
we don't really see the digital numbers for comics, so I'm not comfortable saying digital does better.
No, that's why I said like for comics mostly physical still very much alive.
Or even like it's kind of like I want to see the difference because I'd assume personally that digital was more popular because you can get digital anywhere, you can carry as many as you want anywhere, you haven't got to worry about damaging a piece of paper.
Then you could just read just for reading that the whole collecting aspect of it.
And personally, I think they look better in digital.
I'm still saying that I don't know. Some people would say actually that it doesn't because it messes up when it goes to digital, right? That's what some people say.
What gets messes up when it goes digital?
With like the art or something like that. I remember that's like a conversation that
yes, the things that get made digitally get messed up when they go digital.
Oh well, that's the difference because like if they're made digitally and they go digital, they're always going to be the same. But if they're made, the old issues physically.
I mean, physically, yeah. I mean, actually, yeah. The old issues, they recolor and it always looks wrong. Because the print back then made things look a certain way, whereas opposed to today.
Yeah.
So that's why they look weird. But newer stuff, yes, they're drawn physically and then they're inked physically, or sometimes digitally. But they're still rendered on a computer.
Oh, so okay, real quick, it is weekly because they say. Oh no, never mind. I thought it was weekly.
I'd be surprised if it wasn't weekly, considering how quickly they've been pumping out the Hunt Wolverine.
But I mean, I was trying to mention the point of like that's crazy that there's a lot more limited series kind of being announced in general. Comics, yeah. Marvel, I guess has like like you said, the last three have been limited / mini. Is that a new wave? And that kind of goes to what I was saying. Remember?
I mean, if you think about it, if you go back, Marvel, there was that whole thing of Marvel wouldn't say what's a miniseries and what's not because they think the moment you say it's a miniseries, it's the quote death cult.
I don't see how that always. But I guess some people thought that, right?
It's because they always say you say it's a mini-series, it kills the single issue sales because people just wait until the trade.
That's why you should put them out all on the same day, binge it.
Yeah, but they need the single issue trades or sales.
That's what I'm saying. You sell all 5 single issues on that same day, and people have to spend $4 or $5 on each of them.
But you're then not getting as much money because you're cutting out the single issues.
No, they're not. I literally just said you sell all the single issues that day.
Well, why would you do that?
So you get the money because you want the money, or you could just put it out as a trade and just put it to how much money you would have got from the. Right. It'd probably be more expensive. I don't know. People barely want to pay the extra $1 for comics.
Yeah. All right. Then you're saying just release all 4 on the same day, so then you're cutting out the trade sales.
Yeah, so that's like there's some stuff to it, but I'm sure I don't know. Binging is for everything now, and I feel like eventually it'll be to comics. And I mean, technically it is because some people do wait already and just binge it all.
A lot of people trade. In fact, I think trades at the minute are getting more popular than single issues.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of people do it now, but it is like 6 months later, so it is a longer time from now. And I think eventually you might want to keep the conversation to be current. But that,
It's how I think everything's going to go. Single issues will die in a physical form next 5 years. Right?
Yeah,
Single issues will only be digital. Trade, physical, and digital.
That makes a lot more sense. I mean, it's... Because who doesn't, like... Digital's just cleaner, in a way.
I mean, a lot of people like the physical, like the smell, like the
yeah, but digital just kind of looks better.
I mean, I'm on that fence. That's because I like this. I don't think printing's as good as it should be. No, some colors don't come out the same way.
Yeah.
As things. But then again, the screens depend on the colors as well.
And you also have these new tablets that kind of like are better for your eyes and stuff like that now.
Yeah, well, I mean, looking at a book is probably better for your eyes than a tablet.
Well, yeah, because there's the whole lighting aspect in digital, but they're better on your eyes now than they used to be, and like especially Amazon where it has those Kindles and stuff like that. And I always feel weird reading a digital book, but at the same time, you have to kind of get used to it, maybe.
Another pro for the digital camp is you get panel view. Panel view is the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Yeah,
I could not live without that thing. It is fantastic. So, oh look, I'm not even going to look at the spoiler on the next page because I can't physically see it. Because I have to swipe.
That's cool.
But back to Wolverine, it's the end of the quote trilogy that they've now decided it's going to be for like Death of Wolverine, Hunt for Wolverine, Return of Wolverine.
Yeah.
It seems to be backwards. Like part 1 and 3 should be part 1, but
yeah,
whatever. Yeah, September 19th, 5 issues. I assume it's weekly. I doubt it's going to be monthly. Yeah, I'm a fan of his claws heating up. I think
I am too.
It's a bit poetic to how he died. And it's I died in super hot liquid metal. I'm now going to have super hot metal in my arm.
That's true.
Some people being like, how does this work? Like, where's the science, like the logic in this? And it's like, Wolverine's never had like any of that because where the fuck does he keep those things?
Yeah.
If some people draw them curved, well, where does they sit in his forearms? Some people draw them super long, well, his forearms not that long. He's also a short, hairy Canadian, so that's not. It's also not very polite for a Canadian, so he's not realistic in the slightest. But I'm excited. I'm still salty as fuck. Laura's been demoted because All New Wolverine gave her a reason to not be X-23 anymore, and now she's being called X-23. So, not particularly happy. As long as Gabby stays around, I'll be fine with her little one claw.
We can only hope. Her little one claw.
Well, she's still in X-Men Red, so that's all fine with me. But that's the news of this week. And it's now time for the comics of the 6th of the 6th. Doesn't matter what way around I say that, and I can't forget that day because it's the same day as is the month. I have 4 and you have 2.
Yeah.
I believe because Joe doesn't read.
I'm a slow reader.
We have 2 days before we record this, and God forbid he gets a fucking fortnight.
Well, God forbid I put my life on hold.
You play PUBG and Fortnite like 24/7.
I mean, that was like Monday through Wednesday.
Wow, the entire week.
And not the entire week.
You forget it shows up on Discord. I can see what you do, Joe.
No, yeah, I made it so people can see what I put on Discord.
I'm like the parent. It's like that little motherfucker.
I hope people look at me at Discord and be like, "Oh, what is he playing today? Oh, look, what is he listening to?"
No.
Then what you literally just said it. You're like, "Oh, what is he playing today?"
Because I'm like, why the fuck isn't he replying to me? The little shit.
Because I don't get notifications for anything.
Neither do I, but I still.
I just don't. My head's everywhere.
I'm still awake when I say I'm gonna be awake.
Oh, I'm not. I go to sleep.
But anyway, we had a surprise. And now, even though I don't think it was a surprise because people are like, "Oh, we knew this already." But Cloak-and-Dagger had an announcement on Wednesday, being like, "Oh, a new book, read it now." It is by Dennis Hopeless, which made me happy because I was championing Hopeless for the series. But yeah, it's digital only, so you ain't gonna get a physical. It's also a mini series. But no, it's pretty good. If you've never read Cloak-and-Dagger before, it kind of catches you up. It's like here they are, this is what they're about,
Makes sense.
They're now split up. Like something's happened between these two. We don't know what. Cloak's working security for someone on one side of the country, LA, like busting drug rings with the cops. So she's doing the good old Cloak-and-Dagger thing. And a new costume. She no longer has a dagger on the front. She has a dagger on the back. So instead of showing a bit of tits in the belly button, she's showing the tip of her ass crack.
It's almost like they have a TV show coming up.
It's like the TV show came out the day afterwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty decent. I want to see where he takes it. It's still very, and also they've changed how Dagger's power works in this to match a TV show. I don't know how I feel about that. 'Cause before, like she stabbed someone before and it never actually cut them. It was more like just like, oh, it's in there, you can feel it, but it doesn't even mark. In here, it's like, no, there's blood on these little daggers.
I haven't seen the whole show, the 2 episodes. I only saw like first 10 minutes, so I don't know necessarily how it was in the show.
It's literally she stabs a guy and there's blood on the tip of it.
Ah, okay, where there
So,
is.
I never realized. It's only just me who would be thinking this, who would even care. I always thought they were like a 3D, like a three-dimensional object, like a cylinder.
They're not?
They're not. They're actually flat in the show, which makes sense because you only ever see them flat. But to me, that's really awkward to hold. But
I mean, it's almost like I tend to think of Assassin's Creed with the knife, like it just comes out of your wrist. You know? Oh, I mean,
yeah, but it's she holds these things.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah, that feels like it would be weird to kind of hold everybody. You're right.
Flat, and so it's like everything's going to be sharp around the edge. But
yeah,
it is I would have thought they'd be like a more like a like a cylinder sort of thing with the points on the end. That's how I always pictured them working in my head anyway. Especially when you have to hold something. But that's just me being like, hang on a minute, that don't work right. But yeah, there's something going on because Tandy finds someone dead that looks like they've had like the life sucked out of them, and she recognizes like how they're ending up because it's Cloak that had done that once. So it's the same similar thing. So unless someone's running around here with Dark Force powers, it's Cloak doing it, but I don't think it's actually Cloak. I assume it's not Cloak doing it anyway. But yeah, it's a decent little read. The art's pretty decent as well. If you get offended by hair on females in comics, you will not like this because she's got an undercut now, and it's just the top of the hair. so if I'm just a warning for all you people that get offended by hair. But yeah, it's pretty decent. Am I doing 2 in 1, and then you're doing?
Yeah.
Right, my next one is Doctor Strange #1 by Mark Waid. It's pretty decent. It's kind of a hard thing to be the next guy after Donny Cates, who just came in and went, bang, here's all this stuff with Doctor Strange, and here you go. But he has lost his connection to magic on Earth. He's like, they go over it going like, it's happened before, it never really went away, you just need a little jump start and it came back, but now it's going. And like they represent that by him being blind and like his eyes changing colour. So it's like he can't see all the magic stuff. And he kind of has like the depression stuff. He goes to Tony Stark. Tony's like, oh, go into space. Da-da-da-da. That's what I did, blah. Even though it's a weird thing to suggest someone who's got no powers or anything just to go into space. Yeah, he does that, and then he gets captured. And now he's like, I want to cry. Because he's in the space prison. But it's a decent first issue. And then it catches you up on like who Doctor Strange is and what the predicament is and how he's feeling. And like, now that the magic's gone, his hands are shaking again because that kind of controlled it slightly. The art's great. It's what's the guy's name? I want to say it's Jesus or Jesus.
Jesus
Size. I think that's how you pronounce his name. But yeah, it's a Mark Waid book typically, so I imagine it's going to be a bit of a slow burn. Do we how we get there?
So some great first starts for these two, and kind of like to bring people not back in, but like if you haven't been in for a while.
Yeah, it's a good jumping on point if you're interested.
Yeah.
Also, it's not an intentional cameo, but All for One is in the very first panel. It's just a potato head in the mouth. But...
Is that an intentional cameo?
So who got All for One in my Doctor Strange? It's like peanut butter. But yeah, the spell stuff looks great. It's very much Doctor Strange. Like he says everything and all appears. No, I'm interested to see where he takes it because Doctor Strange's space magic. It's kind of been done before with that lizard guy. I can't remember the name of it on the original Guardians team. But yeah, it's a very solid issue to start off with. Not the best, the worst. It will do you. I'm gonna give this run an arc. So hopefully he can. He's got something up his sleeve. So yeah, on to your first one.
Okay. Which is gonna be Man of Steel #2, and
Did I read Man of Steel #2?
when you first initially told me Bendis kind of writes all human characters the same, I was like, I don't know, is that really gonna happen here?
Yeah, because it's how Bendis writes.
Yeah, it actually happened here. I feel like everybody at the Daily Planet talked the same.
Yeah, everyone's got the one voice, and that voice is Bendis.
Yeah, and I think this is the way they're getting around like it being weekly. They're having two different like alternating artists. So like Ivan Reyes is the first one, and then Evan Shaner does like the second issue, because you can tell there's such a different like art styles in both of them. But this is the one where we learn more about Rao Zogar. That was the name. It's such a like
Uzar.
So that's we learn and we learn like. We learn a little bit, but not like enough. I don't know. I mean, you're supposed to keep a little bit secret. It's still kind of like there's some stuff I'm wondering. Oh, I wonder how this is gonna play out. This is gonna play out, but I definitely am enjoying this so far. I would say, because I guess the whole thing is that that guy cleansed Krypton, and they're trying to say that Krypton didn't just die on its own. That it was Rogazar who did it.
Yeah.
So that's almost like a retcon, but I don't know. It's
retcon.
I don't think that's gonna go that way. I think they're just trying to play it off as that. I don't think it's gonna be like he's the one who started Krypton's destruction. I think it's gonna be like the whole typical thing. It started its own circle, but at the same time, this is why not try something different? I always say when stuff is not connected, why not just try something different? And what if it is Rogazar who did Krypton's destruction and then when you find Superman's gonna be like, you're the one who made my parents die and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
doesn't Supergirl know there's like a chunk of his home planet somewhere? Isn't it?
Is that like a thing? I haven't been reading Supergirl. I haven't even seen that anywhere.
I'm pretty certain she knows about like Rogazar and all this.
Oh, well, that.
I'm not 100%. I haven't actually read all up on it, but I'm just
I haven't read Supergirl in a while, like a year or something like that. So I have no idea, and I haven't even seen anybody mention that. But yeah, I guess Clark and Lois are still married, but they've just gone missing, and the whole gossip around the office is that maybe Clark or she left, like she got paid and took John and just left Clark. It's like, wow.
Yeah. I mean, that's Bendis for you. How to make drama, split people up.
Yeah, and I'm curious as to what actually happened to him, like the mystery of John Clark. People keep thinking that he's gonna get rid of them and stuff like that. I don't think so.
Well, everyone's been like, oh, he's gonna divorce Clark and Lois. This is gonna happen. That's gonna happen. He's gonna kill Clark and Lois. And he's like, I'm not gonna do that. I don't believe Bendis for a second. He has something. He's got planned for this. Because it's Bendis, he has to have something.
You know what I did enjoy was the kind of back and forth between Hal and Clark and like when they're superheroes, when it was Green Lantern and Superman, just the little back and forth. And kind of, I've never seen this, I don't recall reading something like this from Superman, where he says like he admits to himself that he didn't tell Green Lantern everything, but he's allowed to do that because he's Superman, and Superman is like, the most good ever, like person ever. So it's like, oh, he can't be up to like he's always doing something good. So even if he has something to hide, it must be for a good purpose.
Yeah, so that's very much Bendis right there.
Yeah, I did not realize. So this whole like it's just straight Bendis, right? Because like I said, I don't know too much of him.
Yeah, it's. If you didn't know Bendis, you wouldn't know otherwise. But if you read Bendis and you read this, it's like it's good Bendis because he's clearly not bored yet. Give it a year and he might start to get bored.
Also,
it's very Bendis.
I'm just the weirdest part of it was when you see the reflection of this like Superman S chain, and it shows like a monster with red and blue eyes.
Ooh.
I almost thought it was gonna be Lobo for some reason, but it's not. And I guess Superman got transported to the moon, and he's a monster now. It's a little confusing, but at the same time, I think it's very enjoyable and kind of like there's two stories to it. There's kind of the main, like, I guess what's the actual. I guess that's the past, the one with him and the fire and Hal Jordan. That's technically the past, and the present is him being transported to the moon.
Yeah. We'll talk about the DC moon in a minute, actually. Fun fact.
Yeah, and I mean, overall, it's interesting. Like, it's very modern, too. I said that last issue, but this issue, especially when Perry White's saying, like, everybody has, like, they can do news from the tip of their finger is like, yeah, Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know, it's different. It just feels different. And I guess that's just Bendis, because I'm not used to Bendis.
Yeah.
But I'm probably going to get annoyed by this gossip chick.
I mean, probably. If she talks like Bendis, and I can't see.
I did love the... one last thing before we go to the next one. I did love the whole thing of... So some like a bad guy was doing something in the background. It was like 3 panels, right? A bad guy's doing something in the background. Clark's in the office. Perry White and the gossip chick. He goes away, and the gossip chick's like, "Where'd he go?" Like, probably you just offended him, and because you're really obnoxious, and he left. Like, I love that whole kind of not self-aware thing, but you don't see it too much of like, "Oh, where'd Clark go?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I still like that kind of stuff. I don't know.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's kind of it. It was interesting.
Sweet. My next one, X-Men Red, number 5. Are you reading X-Men Red?
No, should I?
Yes.
Okay.
100%. It's the best X-Men book in the last, 10 years.
I'm going to write that down.
Not just because it's got Laura and Gabby in it. It's just really fucking good. And apparently Countdown to Extermination has begun. So Extermination is clearly going to involve all of the X-Men books and not just X-Men Blue and its own little series. But it's very typical X-Men. People hate mutants, this, that, and that. I want to say it's Cassandra Nova who's the villain in this. She's got the Polish government to sign a thing basically banning mutants, and all the mutants in Poland either are going to get round up or they got to fuck off out the country. But the team hear about this, they get there. And they essentially they literally just save everyone. It's typical X-Men stuff. Namor comes in and he's like, you're on the Baltic Sea. This is my place. Tide's coming in, so fuck off. Get everyone on there. And Jean Grey does something that I haven't seen. They don't do it very often, if at all. And she shows everyone the other side's perspective. Do you know how everyone fights? It's like, no, I'm right, you're wrong. No, I'm right, you're wrong.
Yeah.
And that's how today's conversations go. No one can be right. There's no middle ground. It plays with that idea, and I haven't seen anything even do that recently. And that's kind of what makes it so good. It's a very typical X-Men story, but it's a more modern way of telling it with actual, how people talk and everything. And of course, not everyone understands the other side's perspective. There is one guy that still doesn't like mutants, and he takes a shot at one of them. Luckily, Jean Grey can stop bullets, so it's not really a threat. But it's just stuff like that. It's so good. And she goes, we're gonna weaponize the truth. It's tackling the whole the bullshit in the world we have in a minute. So if you don't like that sort of stuff, maybe not for you, because it is very heavy on the social commentary, which I think is what makes a good X-Men book. I think that's what made X-Men good and popular to begin with. So yeah, if you're not reading it, definitely check it out. And it's Tom Taylor. He's at his best.
Yeah, Tom Taylor's great.
It's good, and everyone's got a reason to be there. And there's the whole Sentinels and now nano machines, and they can get inside people's heads and make them hate mutants. And they actually save one guy in here, and he's like, "Oh my god, I just killed someone," which is the last issue. And they recruit Gambit, so Gambit's now actually relevant again. And, he might get a movie now. I doubt it, but he might. There's still the comedy with Gabby. She's always the funny character. You got Storm on here as well. They ride around in a Sentinel. They took all the weapons out of it, and apparently it's roomy inside. So it's kind of like the Megazord and Power Rangers. They have little seats, and it's got a rainbow on it because Gabby, of course. No, it's a really nice, touching story, and you see like the actual problems with everything, and they're not solving it in the typical punch comic book way. Like they're solving everything like just by showing people like different ideals and everything. It's so good.
I'm down for that. Tom Taylor, I feel like doesn't really do any wrong.
No, like even like when he kind of quote slacks, it's still really good. Like
Yeah.
like the end of All New Wolverine, the old woman Laura story. Like I wasn't the biggest fan of that. It was still really good. It didn't go the way I expected it, but hey, it was still good. Yeah, it's getting a different artist next issue because it's the end of the arc and the start of a new one.
And that's kind of what you were saying, right? Of how like keep the same writer but just different artists.
Well, I don't think this has had a consistent artist on it yet.
Ah, okay.
Majority of the 5 issues so far, is it 5 or is it 4? 5 have been the same person, but it has like the annual was different than someone else. I think it was like the second issue was different. No, the art's really good at the minute, and it's gonna get even better. It was the woman who did Punisher, and is the only one to do Punisher so far. But it's really good. No, it's such a good. Like, if you're reading X-Men Gold and Blue, and you're not reading this, check it out because it is definitely the best. Even if you don't care about Jean Grey, it will make you care about Jean Grey. But
I like Jean Grey.
I like Jean Grey now. It's kind of she has a character now. Before she was just, oh no, I'm the one that gets saved, and it's like, no, now I'm the one that's going to be doing the save.
You think the movies and TV should like the live action stuff do a disservice sometimes to the comics? Like in terms of like Jean Grey in X-Men Last Stand, right? Like
Scarlet Witch, you mean?
Oh, yeah.
I think that answered your question.
Yeah.
Moving on. Infinity Countdown number 4. This one blueballed me hard.
Oh.
Absolutely blueballed. Because they had a little video on Twitter, and at the end it had Moondragon and Quasar, and I was like, they're finally back. And then we get to the issue, and they're like, hi, bye. And it's like, you piece of shit. I've waited 10 years for that moment, and then you took them away as soon as you could move. But no, it continues to be really good. If you liked Galactus as the Lifebringer, R.I.P. in P. He's no longer. The Silver Surfer, of course, in the last issue of Countdown, went to him because Ultron's taken over a planet. So Silver Surfer's like, you have to eat this thing, because if you don't eat this thing, it's just going to spread and everything's going to go. And Galactus is like, no, why would you want me to have like that guilt and everything? He gets convinced in the end, and he eats the planet, but the trade-off is the Silver Surfer now has to go back to being the Herald of Galactus. So that status quo has been brought back. And I have been wrong about these Infinity Stones. I was under the impression that Duggan's changed them so they work in multiple universes now. They do not. The Reality Stone in our universe isn't the one we should have.
Whoa.
Because what they like, it's when they bring in Fire Lavelle and Moondragon, because they're after their Reality Stones. They come and get it, and they're like, the reason why it's not working for you is because the Reality Stones, for some reason, have been placed in neighboring universes or like dimensions, whatever you want to call them. So take that one. You essentially got to find your own one and then go back home, and it will work. Even though I don't know where I suppose the Captain Marvel tie-in took place in R1. Even though I don't think we ever saw her get back. I'm pretty certain in the last one she was hopping universes. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, so they're still confined to working in their own reality. And they're essentially, at the minute, from what we've seen, it's just a multiversal walkie-talkie. Which I suppose Reality Stone's kind of OP by itself compared to the rest of them, but it's neither here nor there. It kind of hints at the start of the Guardians separating. Richard Rider goes off to get his brother. I can't remember who keeps the Power Stone. I think it might be Drax. Yeah, I think it is Drax. Gamora wants to start a new Infinity Watch, so keep an eye out for that one coming down the line. That is 100% going to happen. Which could be the title of the next Avengers movie. Avengers Infinity Watch might be an idea.
That'd be cool.
Knows? But yeah,
Rip it, Gamora.
Rip Gamora. Oh, if you haven't seen the movie yet, spoilers.
No, I meant for the comic.
That
She's trying to start the Infinity Watch. It's not probably gonna work out.
Or if you want to twist it that way, yeah, there's no spoilers.
Because I mean, in comics, like some characters usually want to start something, and it's like sometimes it just doesn't work out. That's the point of the issue, like the comic.
Right, I'll give you that. But back to the whole Adam Warlock and Silver Surfer thing, they do beat Ultron. They get the Soul Stone away from him. So I don't know if Ultron's or Pimtron. So I don't know if he's gonna carry on being the villain of this, because it doesn't really seem to be a villain at the minute, because it was teased that it was Magus at first because Adam Warlock was back, and then Pimtron killed Magus, and now Pimtron's been really, like, he's lost an arm because of the Silver Surfer, and he's got no Soul Stone, so he's kind of nullified at this point. I don't know who else has the stones. I think the majority are left on Earth. So it's still clearly the end of Duggan's Guardians run.
Yeah.
Because they are the focus. The stone, they were all after the stones, but it's all leading up to something. We also get our first appearance of Requiem in this. Like, it's hinted at that Requiem's kind of a constant throughout the multiverse, because Moondragon and Quasar are like, do they know about Requiem? Oh, no, they don't. Let's go. So something's going on with that. He's also the guy the dwarf is making something for. So I think bang goes my theory that Requiem is Phyla-Vell. But hey ho, that is what it is. I'm just sad that the Lifebringer's gone, to be honest. Just like, out of every change they've done, I think that was the best one. It was a nice little twist on the Galactus thing, but shit can't stay the same forever. Comics always moves forward, then it goes back, and then it moves in a different direction.
And that's why I always pitch the 6-issue creative team series.
I mean, that wouldn't change anything.
No, that's why everything changes, right? Might as well be kind of self-aware about that and just do creative team every 6 issues, because everything changed. Like, there's not, like, I mean, Logan stayed dead technically for like 4 years, but like still he wasn't dead. Like, there was Old Man Logan, there's this, like, it's weird. Comics is a weird thing where everything happens but nothing happens, right? Like, where a character is dead but he's also alive.
They are also alive.
Yeah, they are also alive. Yeah, just that you see.
Unless you are, actually no, even Uncle Ben and Gwen Stacy now. I suppose you could have said Jean Grey. She was dead for about 14 years. She was never brought back until the original 5 came back, and then Phoenix Resurrection and all that.
This is the thing that comics is always going to have to struggle with, because there's always new readers coming in, and there's always readers going in and out and stuff like that. So this is something they always just got to handle.
Yeah. But next up is the second issue of Darkhawk for the tie-in for this, and then the Black Widow one, because she has the Space Stone. Is it Space Stone? Yes, blue one. So yeah, we are 2, 4, 6, 7 issues away from this ending. Even though it doesn't end on an Infinity Countdown, it ends on Darkhawk. That's interesting. That must be like a little epilogue sort of thing. But yeah, then once that ends, we go straight into Infinity Wars, and Infinity Wars Prime. So yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes.
Me too.
Hopefully Duggan stays in the cosmic realm, because I really like Duggan in space. Even though I kind of missed who did the art in this issue. I don't think it was the same guy. Oh, it was Kuya who did the art in this. That's interesting. Even though I think there might be multiple. I've got Deodato in there as well. But yeah, on to Justice League.
Yeah. So you I'm assuming you didn't like this issue?
It's a typical Snyder thing. I like reading it. The second I think about it, it falls apart.
What? Because this felt like what did we it was Rebirth, and what was the other one that Marvel did?
Legacy.
Like, because this felt like a Legacy type of thing / Rebirth, like those type of things. Like, this felt like Snyder's thing.
Yeah, it feels like that on the surface when you read it, but there are some gaping issues in this book.
Well, what's the issues?
Right, what do they do to the planet, Joe?
What do you mean?
They lift the Earth's crust up and then drop it back down. Everyone's dead, but no one's dead. There's no, like, what's the word? There's no.
I don't even get what like that even means.
They lifted the Earth's crust. Did you even read this?
Yeah, but I don't even get what that means by lifting the Earth's crust. I don't they literally lift up like
they lifted the outer layer of the Earth off the planet, and then it fell back down. Everyone should be dead. No one's dead. They're alive. They then exploded.
Yeah, that
moon.
was a little bit too much, maybe. I thought besides because to me that wasn't my favorite part of the issue. Like, oh, that was all right. Like they're teaming up and stuff like that. That's cool. But it was like the second half.
I mean, yeah, it's fine, but here's the thing: you can't do something. Those two things alone, the crust and blowing up the moon, that's not something you just do and then never mention again. Ever.
So he actually blew up the moon. I know they mention it, but they don't really like show it. Like,
see the moon go bang.
I guess he made a point. I never really thought about those 2 points, but the crust and the moon thing.
What I'm saying, like, it's fine and it's fun when you read it. The second you start to think about what even happened in this issue, it literally crumbles.
Well, no, not for me at least, because when going to I thought this introduces a lot of great different things about it, like the psychic boardroom. I thought that's such a great idea.
Fine, that's a really cool idea. But that happens after the moon exploded when they should be in a fucking panic.
See, I don't know. That
psychic mind space, because everyone would die with no moon in our orbit.
I don't know. I didn't care about that part. Like I just didn't like acknowledge it or care. I was just like the whole crust and the moon part. I was like, oh, cool, okay, he's a dragon now.
Of course you didn't acknowledge it because he doesn't even focus on it. He does it without caring. And that's my biggest issue. It's really fun. There's a lot of cool ideas in here. Snyder can't execute them in the way that I want him to. And it's really fucking frustrating.
Well, I guess that's the difference, right? Because I honestly didn't care about focusing on that part. I think if it would have been a point and it mattered to the whole story, maybe that would have been like, oh, you should have focused on it. But to me, it didn't.
Here's the thing. Something that big should matter and it should focus because they just lost twice. But apparently they haven't lost because it doesn't affect anything. So has this world got no moon now?
See,
what happened? Oceans? Does Aquaman now rule the entire planet? What's going on? There's too many questions from those two things. Like, you don't just drop the crust of the Earth back on the planet because nothing would still be standing. Everyone would be dead.
Yeah, I did not think of any of those things. I was more like, in my head, like after reading this issue, I was like, okay, so now we have the Legion, and now the biggest thing that came out of this issue for me was the whole fact that they even mentioned that they only have 5 months to live because the universe is imploding.
Wasn't it a year?
Didn't they say 5 months?
I think they said. I'm pretty sure it was a year.
Here, let's check it out because to me that should have been the focus of No Justice. Kind of, if they're gonna have something in between, or at least the end of Dark Knight's Metal, you should have mentioned this because this just like came out of nowhere for me. Of like they only have a certain amount of time until the universe implodes, huh?
Yeah. Well, this is why there's the rumors of crisis, because that's the whole thing.
There's a rumors of what?
A crisis coming.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I didn't hear that rumor, so. Yeah.
Metal was supposed to be a crisis, but they called it Darkness Metal.
Hey,
but the moon. It's literally, you have a massive focus on John becoming this dragon for no reason.
I thought that was cool though. I like that.
That's my problem.
I thought that was awesome.
Scott Snyder's literally right. You have Scott Snyder and Donny Cates. Donny Cates, they're both literally. They will sit there and go, "This is a cool idea. Let's do this." Except one thinks about what has to happen. Snyder is literally, this thing is cool. Let's do this. Don't care about what happens.
I'm down for it though.
The moon explodes in the smallest panel, and then they're back to the Injustice Gang and the whole Legion of Doom setup. And it's like, that is not a small thing. You don't just do that.
I'm looking for this one dialogue though. Let me see.
I'm pretty certain they say they got a year left.
Because it's important if it's 5 months or a year. I'm looking. Okay, so there's a myth on New Genesis that the Source Wall was our incubator and was when our universe was ready, a messenger would come through a code to evolve the. I thought I love those ideas. Let's see, I'm looking for it. So
Issue's full of really cool ideas. Snyder can't execute.
to me, it's the first issue, and he's going to execute throughout the series. But
Exactly, it's the first issue, and he's destroyed the world twice, but nothing matters.
see, I'm telling you, I honestly did not even think about those.
That's literally kind of what my point is. You don't think about them. That's why the second you think about these Scott Snyder stuff,
I felt like if you maybe just take out those two moments and replace them with something else, like just like they're fighting just a couple thieves and something like that, and
yeah, exactly. That's the point. It shouldn't be. You shouldn't have destroyed the Earth twice in one issue. It should have been something smaller.
I don't know. I'm not gonna penalize for those stuff because I don't know.
It's horrifically bad writing.
I don't know.
It's shitty writing, Joe. Like,
I'm not on that hill with you.
Like Snyder, he's got really fucking cool ideas. The Legion of Doom is kind of like, oh, whatever for me, because it's like, oh, the Joker's back again. But and that the whole psychic little boardroom thing is really cool, and the whole that's going to expand as they go on. That's cool. I know I'm in this because it's a fun read, but it's just really fucking frustrating.
I'm still looking for
the focus on this is more, oh, woe is me, I'm John, I'm depressed, whatever.
You can't just gloss over that. Like, he literally says his whole planet and his family died. They focused on that.
Okay, you can't gloss over a personal thing, but you can destroy the world twice and gloss over it and pretty fine.
I'm okay with that.
Not having that. That is, but if that happened in Marvel, people would be up in fucking arms. You don't just do shit like that. It's bad writing. It's 100% bad writing.
I'm still looking for the freaking dialogue, dude, where it says how long they have, because it's important how long they have.
They're in the psychic boardroom.
Yeah, I honestly can't find it. I've been reading this whole thing, and I honestly can't find it of how long they have, because it is very important. And you know what? I don't know when we talked about it, but when Martian Manhunter be back, I think when the League was announced, like the new book, and it had Martian Manhunter, I think initially I was against it. I was like, I don't know. I felt like in this day and age it should be more grounded and have Cyborg in it, but Martian Manhunter being the leader, especially the way Scott Snyder frames this, where he keeps everybody in check in a way, where Batman's like hiding something, but even Martian Manhunter can see through it. I think it's such a perfect idea.
Even here, they're in the psychic boardroom, and Barry says, for those of us just getting over blowing up the moon thing, they just blew up the fucking moon.
Oh yeah, I laughed at that. I don't know. It's like they blew up the moon.
Something you can gloss over. It's.
I think
so bad.
It's like what we said. Everybody has a different kind of idea of what characters are, right, or what teams are, and I guess just Scott Snyder from reading Metal.
I'm not talking about the characters.
No. Hear me out. So what? Everybody has a different idea of it, right? To Scott Snyder, they are the gods, and a moon breaking is nothing.
Yes, that's why it's shit, because they, yes, they're gods. They're trying to save people. They just let them die twice. Destroying the moon would wipe us out. Lifting the crust off the earth and dropping it would wipe us out. He is literally just, oh, this is cool. He's the 13-year-old kid smacking toys together, not thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
That's not good writing at all.
Really? To me, it was...
Look, if that happened in a movie, it would be shatter.
There's a difference between a movie and a comic.
Storytelling.
No, but also a comic can have stuff like this because of kind of it isn't, and also, the way, because each comic's gonna have a different type of genre, right? And the way they introduce this, it feels like an out there.
It's. I don't, different genre, I don't care. Different medium, I don't care. If you do stuff like this and gloss over it, it's shit.
I'm still looking for that piece of dialogue.
If this was the end of an arc and blowing up the moon had a consequence, fine, it'd be great. It doesn't, it's the start, it's terrible. No one literally cares.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't care. I'm still trying to look for this It literally, because this is important. I swear it's all.
It's a year. I'm telling you right
Well,
now.
that's why I'm looking for it so I can know.
But I know. I'm telling you, it's a year.
Well, where is it? What page?
I don't know. I'm just telling you.
Well,
It's a
that's what
year.
I'm saying. Like, I gotta know exactly. Like, I
I'm
trust you,
telling
but
you
I gotta know like what the dialogue surrounding it. Because it's important about like that kind of thing. I don't know where I read it. I swear it's just kind of like
it's definitely in this issue, isn't it? Green Lantern that says it.
somebody. Because it's Vandal Savage in here. I love that Vandal Savage looks pretty cool, and because in DC Nation #1, kind of like a magazine about this, they explain a little bit more about like all the issues and stuff like that. And apparently Lex thinks that only he can, because the heroes don't know what they're doing, and only he knows how to save him. That's why he created the Legion of Doom, so he can save the universe. Apparently, they don't really like. They even tell you more about Rogar Zal in that one, and it's so weird how they explain more in that than they do in the comics.
Also, fun fact: it took Snyder 3 pages to get Batman back in the mech suit again, because Snyder has to have Batman in the mech suit. It's like, oh, that's a trope.
I'm still about the death. So John's talking about like the death of his planet. Also, I think that's Adam Strange that Lex Luthor has in a chokehold and is bleeding.
I think it is, yeah.
It seems like he was in this issue, if I remember correctly, one of the panels. And then now Lex kind of has him in a stranglehold. Also, I'll tell you why this reminds me a lot of the Legacy / Rebirth. Because at the end, it's like the Abomination is unearthed. New armies raised from across space. Ancient gods revived. Now we know how Darkseid's going to be on Odyssey.
Yeah.
So
even though he like he doesn't know the sea.
I don't know. I think the one main problem I have this, besides that, because I don't know, I didn't find it too much of a problem as you did, was that from Dark Knight's Metal to No Justice to this is so just, it feels not coherent at all.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it feels like, honestly, like, if they connect, it's very small. I feel like none of these really connect unless you tell me they connected.
The only reason they connect is because they've had panels leading up to Justice League.
Well, no, it's also because they told me it connected. That's really the only... If I was reading Dark Knight's Metal without, like, the last thing that they put in there initially, or after the fact, I don't know if I would have thought this was all connected.
No, at the end of Dark Knight's Metal, you had them doing the Hall of Justice thing. At the end of
But that was tacked in, wasn't it?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, yes, it doesn't. You don't. If you didn't see that panel, you wouldn't really see the connection.
Yeah.
The connection there is the Hall of Justice panel, the I think you should be the chairman of Justice League panel, and then this.
Really, I mean, you're exactly right. Really, that all could have been at the end of Dark Knight's Metal. It didn't have to be 4 issues of No Justice, because they even make a point to No Justice in here, and I'm just like, I don't know if that really matters.
Yeah. Also, I feel like this Metal and No Justice should have waited until after Doomsday Clock.
Yeah, because it definitely feels like that could be something with it. I'm still trying to find this dang piece of dialogue while I'm talking about all this, and I still can't find it. Also, Superman looks like Bizarro in this. That's on the artist's part. Artists should have figured that out.
I love Jim Chung's art in this.
Yeah, but he made Superman look like Bizarro in this because of how like blue he is, and kind of looks like there's cracks on him. I don't know what's the point of that.
I mean, that's just how Jim Chung draws faces. Like, everyone's got lines and all that.
It just looked weird. I don't know. Just, he was the only one that looked weird to me. Other than that, the whole art, I thought all the art was great in this. Especially Martian Manhunter as a dragon. I thought he drew the dragon really well.
Yeah, but it's pointless, because what does he do with the dragon? He just turns into
I still can't believe they blew up the moon like that. I honestly did not figure that out.
Frustrates me in this issue, because there's no reason.
The multiverse is big.
I get it. You need a big thing to happen in your first issue. Can we not do two big things that should destroy?
I feel like the big thing was Lex killing Vandal.
No, well, I mean, like the team has to stop something big. Like it's just the first issue team thing. It always happens.
Because where's that point in this? There's a point where Lex says, "I have somebody captured." Where is it? He has like somebody in chains in the bottom. I'm very curious as to who it is. Let's see.
Find this fucking panel.
I know, me too, man. There's so much in this that it's almost dense. It could be dense, actually.
The writer's dense when you're doing this, clearly.
Let's see.
Oh, I'm gonna blow this thing up and then never care because I'm a good writer.
I mean, I'll agree that is kind of like a mistake. Scott Snyder should have probably put more emphasis on that stuff. I don't think that takes away from the whole issue as a whole, in my opinion.
Takes away from the issue because they're not even focused on it.
No, because to me, the takeaway from this issue is this whole fact of the source wall, and this should have been take away no justice. This is like really what should have been after Dark Knight Tomato, and even then, I don't even know Dark Knight Tomato should have been a thing.
Yes, that is what the takeaway is supposed to be, but because they have these massive things, I can't think of anything else, and it's just destroyed the book.
Well, I mean, yeah, okay, maybe I'm pretty sure you're going to find other people that are going to feel the same way. But of course, there's probably going to be other people who feel similar to me, where it's like, I don't know, I didn't really care.
Like, people forgive Scott Snyder for fucking everything. The dude can write in a Deus Ex Machina 12 pages out of 15, and everyone will say he's the best thing ever. All because Batman can do... that's the reality of Scott Snyder.
There's no word for it. I'm still trying to find this thing before we head out, because it's been a long one. But I'm just trying to find this before we head out. That's why. But I don't know. I remember Hawkwoman being a thing, but it's just like this weird stuff. Oh, here it is. I mean, not the time thing, but it says I put a monster in the basement. So somebody's in the basement of the Legion of Doom like headquarters, and I'm curious as to who that's gonna be. Cause let me see, if Hal is reading correct, in a year, you're right, maybe less. It'll expel energy than planets, than universes. Maybe that thing is the key. Hell, I don't know, but it was the speed. So what's the speed? So okay, and also. Fun fact, they still have the 10th metal. When I thought they said in Dark Knight's Metal that it went back into...
No, they never said that.
It literally said that they kept it trapped. I'm going to go find it and bring it up next week. Because isn't Justice League a weekly issue?
Isn't Justice League what?
Isn't Justice League weekly with Scott Snyder?
I don't think it is.
I swear that is. I don't know if I'm going to be able to wait for this, because this is like too big that I need it now.
Because No Justice was the weekly one. Justice League, I think, is monthly or every 2.
Okay, here it is.
Let's
see if it's out next week. No, you're probably right. It's not going to be out next week. Damn.
I have been sitting there shitting on this, and I don't care what anyone says. I will continue to shit on it.
Go ahead. I mean, it's your opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, why should...
it's a massive fucking oversight. That I can't... I'd do it for any book or any movie I read. It's just stupid. It's fucking stupid. But apart from that, on a surface level, I enjoyed it.
I'd probably be on your side too. Of like, it's a massive oversight. I don't know if I'd be able to forgive, because on most movies and stuff, like in any storytelling, I wouldn't be able to forgive that really. But for some reason, I am here, and that's mostly because of what kind of like the last 5 to 10 issues have. That I'm just like, I honestly don't care about that. I want to know more about this.
Like, what was the point? And you're saying that was the point in No Justice. What was the point in No Justice and saving the Earth if you're just going to blow the fucking moon up?
Well, I mean, that's for another. But from my thing of what was the point of No Justice if it doesn't give you this of like that they only have a year left? I feel like that's the biggest bomb ever, and that I probably should have been known about this.
Yeah, it also that kind of helps my thing of this should really be after Doomsday Clock.
Yeah.
It's really strange having Darkness Metal, No Justice, and then this at the same time. Doomsday Clock going on. It's like, shouldn't that have led into this? Because this feels like a relaunch issue. I mean, it is a relaunch issue.
This feels like time runs out.
No, not quite. It feels like season 2, episode 1, whereas Doomsday Clock is the season finale.
Oh well, I meant like time, because I feel like there's gonna be like a secret wars. There's gonna be a crisis at the end.
I'm not talking about like necessarily the whole story point of it. It's just like
I am.
You have two massive things. Again, there's 2 things like happening. Is this going to lead into?
Oh, Okay, so look, it says right here too. So this is where I got through 5 months or 6 months, because they initially Flash says we have a year, maybe less, and then Martian Manhunter, something happens where he breaks connection and he sees like this weird face in the stars, and he says, or the narrator says, just months from now, at the end of everything, the last living thing in the Omniverse, everyone, even his friends, burned to dust. All because he hadn't understood that everything, this multiverse, off of it, from birth to maturity, youth to crisis, all of it had been built over an unseen door, a secret. And now, in the moment, at the table, hands in the air, and he and his friends have unlocked the door.
Yeah. Well, a year is only a handful of months.
Handful.
12, a year's not that long of a time.
It's 12 months.
That's not that long.
No, but when you say a handful, that's a hand. A hand doesn't have 12 fingers on it. A year is pretty long. I feel like they thought it was going to be a year, and then it's going to be more. It's going to be less, actually.
If that was the case, then that makes the fucking issue worse, because he clearly doesn't give a shit what he's just writing things down and going with it.
No, that's what they initially thought, because they did like a calculus about it, and then something happened, and Martian Manhunter's seen this, which still.
No. I'm done with this conversation.
Oh well, I'm just saying, whoever was the artist on this, what was it, Jim Chung?
Yeah.
I 100% love that one panel of like in the stars there's a face and Martian Manhunter is like on the nose of it. I 100% love that look. I don't know if it was Scott who was like, all right, this is what it looks like, or Jim Chung was like, all right, this is what it looks like, Scott. You gave me like details of what it maybe should be, and this is what it looks like. I'm just gonna give it to both of them. I 100% think that is an amazing panel.
Well, I mean, of course it's both of them. One writes it, one draws it.
Yeah, but I just don't know who thought like.
It's to everyone, because there's the colorist, there's the letterer.
It's true. I'm giving it to everybody who. I just think that panel of in the stars in the face. I have no idea what it could be. It has to be a new character, right? It can't be something that's been done before.
I assume it's a new character because it's kind of alluded that this is the thing that's going to be in the door of the multiverse.
And I hope this expands to because in the very beginning, I still love that very beginning thing of it's 85,000 years from now, 85,000 years ago, 5,000 years from now.
I saw that and I was like, oh my god, are we really jumping backwards and forward this much? It's like, when is now? Please tell me where.
I think that is such cool, and it has like Commodity has Just League 1 million, and.
But at the same time, the problem with that is just like, oh, so they keep this thing around then.
No, it's not to keep this thing around. It's a thing that spans through time itself. So you're seeing it in the past, present, and the future at the same time.
Fair. I'll give it that. Fair.
Yeah, you thought it was a thing that started from the beginning, has been still coming even 85,000 years from now, right?
No, I just look at it and assume that, it's like a comet. It comes back around every X amount of years.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So you don't destroy it in this issue. They keep it around, and then you're just seeing it cycle throughout time. Not that it's all happening at once. I didn't take it.
It is the comet that gave Vandal Savage probably his powers, but I'm assuming.
But it's something new because it came from the source.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it could give Vandal Savage powers. That could be an interesting way of tying it up. But
I can't go away from what you said about the whole moon thing. But other than that, like,
it really fucked me off.
I think the whole Source Swap thing is such like a damn moment. Like, damn, how come nobody thought of doing this before?
Probably because no one had any idea what to do afterwards. So.
That's true. What would you do afterwards? Wow. You can go into the idea I thought of having the Justice League Incarnate kind of being the Ultimates version for DC.
It's what I'd do afterwards. I'd address the fucking moon and why there's still buildings standing after this one issue.
See, I'd address why Lex Luthor's holding a heart.
Because
is that Vandal Savage's art?
No, it's mirroring the Hall of Justice.
Oh, something coming.
No.
That's a doorbell. That's not a heart. You're right.
At the start, they're saying like only people linked in the league can see the door handles and the doors.
Yeah.
By a certain material. Which also, has it always been the case that the Hall of Justice is shaped?
I think that's new.
Like the reason it's shaped like that is because it's the Martian symbol for justice or whatever it is.
No, I think that's very much this. Like Scott said,
it's a really good idea.
Yeah, I thought
It's
that
not
was great. I didn't think
really
about that.
big. He has a ton of ideas. Someone needs to write his stuff for him.
Who did we think about this before that had a lot of great ideas but couldn't necessarily execute all that well? Who did we had? There was another writer who was like that. I didn't know who. Who was it?
I can't remember.
We thought about it recently in the last 2 years.
was
It might have been
probably-
Scott Snyder. It might have been him, honestly, that we said it.
And I'm not. People are like, "Oh, you're hating on Snyder." It's like I am kind of hating on Snyder.
It's
but
his take.
I don't want to hate on Snyder. I want to like it because I like how he writes. It's just fucking.
You're not
frustrating.
hating on Snyder. There's a
No,
thing because there's
I'm
a difference. Hate is a strong word, and some people might take because it's comic Twitter and stuff like that. You're not hating on Snyder. You just have this opinion about his writing that is like a take that he doesn't focus on certain things, and every writer has things that nobody's perfect, right?
It's not even focused on certain things. It's just like he just does dumb
He
shit.
doesn't execute that well.
Yeah.
It's not, and critiquing someone doesn't mean you hate them as people. It's just to get it out there.
But yeah, I'm not hating on Snyder himself.
Yeah,
I'm
you
hating
know-
on what he.
You know, some people are going to try to twist that, and no, he's not hating on Snyder himself. But I thought it was a great point you made. You know what I'm saying? I honestly didn't even like focus on that until you brought it up, and I think it is a very great point. And something that Scott Snyder seems like he hasn't really grown from, and that is execution in a way. I think Jeff Johns is great at execution, even though he sucks at timing.
We'll see how he is with execution
That's
after
true.
Doomsday Clock, because right now he's kind of all over the place.
Well, that's mostly because that stuff's like 5 months apart.
Just quickly, is Joker the son?
Do you say Joker is like the sun, like literally the sun?
There's that sequential page. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 panels and they're all going down, and there's Lex Luthor choking out whatever his face is, and it's of introducing you to the Legion of Doom. And at the last one's Joker, and it's beyond this. We saw the laughter which evil would rise, right?
I didn't even realize. I didn't even look at the laugh. Is that a smile laugh? Wow.
It's a smile. But
God, I honestly didn't even recognize that. I thought that was the comment thing or whatever.
Joe, do you even read these?
Yes, but there are certain points that I focus on more than the others. Like, remember when we were reading Man of Steel and you focused on the song and I focused on the kind of the foreshadowing thing?
It's this, it's quite a, it's bright yellow.
Because what I more focused on was Darkseid Rising, kind of somebody bringing somebody alive, and then kind of like the last thing of there's a face in the sky. I honestly just thought I didn't even like, everybody focuses on different things because everybody has like in their heads what matters more.
Yeah.
So
clearly,
I don't think Joker's the son, but I honestly,
it's a star. There's a definite star there. I don't know what it means. I'm not taking everything at face value. Also, Darkseid is fucking huge in that panel because it's a tiny little man.
See, I think that's just a statue of Darkseid or something. I don't think that's the real Darkseid. I think
because we know he doesn't look like that.
No, he has like a cool hoodie. He's Ronin, right? Is that what people said?
Ronin and Yakuza, yeah.
Yeah, I think it looks cool.
There's a lot of stuff I like about it. You get you kind of get like Justice League Dark at the start in that Wonder Woman panel.
Yeah.
Even though Snyder writes Wonder Woman really weirdly. I don't know how I feel about that. Jim Chung does an amazing Hawkgirl. Just to give this book some more props. I'm going to stick with it. I like the idea. I just wish he didn't do stupid shit.
Yeah. I mean, makes sense. All right, I think that's going to be it for today. We went on for a long time. It's going to be a long one.
How long has it been?
Gotta stop keeping it this long. I know people like the shorter stuff, the shorter episodes. It's been like 140. God.
Yeah. My dinner's probably done.
I'm sorry.
I mean, it's my own fault,
Yeah.
But anyway, that'll wrap up this week's episode. Until next time.
Toodles.